Hey everyone, it's Tesla Tom here. Thank you so much for joining us today on Ludicrous Feed. And as you can see today, we are reviewing the Hansshow, what I think is the rear screen for Tesla Model 3 Model Y, even though they've called this the Starlink full-width strip tail light bar. So that's what my box says. I think that's what they've sent me, which is the rear screen. That's what the picture looks like anyway. So we'll open it and take a look. And by the way, to be super transparent, open disclosure, this is indeed a commission-based endorsement and installation of this rear screen from Hansshow. I've ticked the checkbox which says this is a paid promotion. And we'll try to be super honest, of course, with the installation and testing. But there it is, the Hansshow rear screen for Tesla Model 3 Model Y. And with that, don't forget to use my coupon code TeslaTom. That'll get you a discount at the checkout for any Hansshow products. I'll leave full details in the video description below, as always. Okay, so let's open the box. Inside, and yep, the dreaded plastic, or whatever this stuff is. So just a note to future suppliers, if you're going to send me stuff, please try to reduce the amount of plastic. One, is obviously not good for the environment, but secondly, I have to dispose of it somehow, and it's much easier for me to dispose paper than plastic in my household anyway. Okay, so yeah, you saw the housing come out. More housing. It's kind of already falling apart there, but we'll fix that up, no problem. And what's this? This looks like some sort of tablet. Okay, so it looks like the Android tablet supplied this time is separate. So we'll check that out. And as always, some more wiring looms there in the back. And more plastic, once again, or whatever this stuff is. And what's this? More housing. Okay, looks like the vent and USB connections, or USB hole for the USB connections. More wiring looms and harness. Getting more complicated, right? Used to be quite easy. Hopefully it's still easy. And what's this? Okay, this is different. I've not seen this before. Mic RST. All right, that looks like part of the air conditioning vent, but all right, we'll see what that's about. And then the rest of the box. Okay, so I've pulled apart the packaging and pulled apart all the components, and looks like this new iteration of the rear screen is quite an involved process. So it looks like on this occasion you actually have to pull apart the panel underneath the air conditioning vent to install this bit, because it looks like there's speakers down here for the Android tablet that I've got to put together now with the rear air conditioning vent that has now been integrated with, you know, vents like that can move. I guess they've listened to feedback. Yeah, so this wiring loom, this actually goes to the CAN bus port below the air conditioning vent. So we'll get rid of, well, we'll open up that casing and show you what that is. And I believe from past experience, these two smaller black plugs, they're for the seat controls, because I can see this loom here. They've included two for this occasion, one and two as well. And look, you can install these to your seats, like the front passenger and driver's seat, but to be honest, I don't want anybody in the back fiddling with my seats, so I'm actually not going to touch the seat controls. But you can, just for your information. So this is the USB-A for the older Model 3s, and then this is for the USB-C for late Model 3s and Model Ys. So I'm happy to keep this as USB-C because that's what our car is, but yeah, there's an option there for USB-A if you need it. And now it's got housing separate to the tablet, so I will try to put everything together and then come back to you and show you how I did that. Okay, so I'm now in the back of my car, of the Model 3, and it looks like now I've got to pull apart not just this bit here where the air conditioning vent sits, but actually pull apart all this stuff underneath here as well. I'll just show you what I mean. So down here, this casing down here, this has got to go as well. So yeah, a bit more involved, but yeah, I'm sure we can work it out. So let's do it. Okay, so first things first, let's focus on the Android tablet or the screen itself, and I'm going to connect this one here, focus there. So this cable here with the blue and white pattern, and then same on the other side, blue and white. And I think it could only go one way into this socket here, which is this end here. And it's not symmetrical, so you can just see that it looks a bit different on one end. And you can pretty much quickly work out which way it's supposed to go in. So let's just see. which should slot in like this, so let's hope for the best. Again, this does not come with instructions, so I'm going to have to intuitively work this out. And I should say that I brought a few of my friends with me, a couple of different size pry tools. This kit didn't come with any pry tools, but I've amassed a few from installing a few of these over the years. So yeah, if you can get access to some of these will be your friends. And like I said, instead of handling the wires and the chips too much, you can sort of use this to just push down to make sure that that's nice and secure. So yeah, we'll try to be delicate with these and use these guys instead of my fingers too much. Okay, so coming from the screen, this cable we'll just put in the other end. There it is. That should slot into here. So again, just using my intuitiveness to work out where to go. And I think that should slot into there. So let's try that. Okay, so I thought of the word. It's intuition. I should be using that word, intuition. All right, so using my intuition, I will be plugging this one in. Again, try not to handle the wires too much. Sometimes you can't help it. Okay, and I think I'm in again, just using my pry tool to push in. Yep, that looks pretty secure there. Okay, I'm happy with this one. Okay, so now we're back inside the car, and the first step we need to do is actually take off the air conditioning housing. So this is actually quite a straightforward process. Obviously remove any charging devices from the USB ports, and you just put two hands here, so fingers only, into the sides here where the unit meets the rest of the car, and just pull forward like that. Shouldn't be too forceful, and then just down here as well. Okay, and that should just come apart like that. And from there you should see, I'll just bring the camera down, you should be able to see, yes, a bit of wiring there connecting the unit, well that's probably the power actually, connecting the USB charging ports to the rest of the car. Okay, so removing the power cable from the OEM air conditioning vent. It's just a little clasp there which you need to undo. So once you do that, it should just wiggle out like this, one-handed. Use my feet to hold it. There we go. Pull out, and there we go. That's the power cable. Okay, so now comes the fun part, and we have to remove this casing and then this casing up here as well. So I'm going to do this one first, the bottom one, because I know this one. I've done this a few times. I've not done the top one before, so bear with me. We can have fun together. All right, so good old pry tool that I love. And we just want to stick it in the groove here. I might use this side here. A bit more entry is interesting always. Just gently just pry in there. Yep, and then I've got that one, and then you get the top one in there and just pry it up. It should just come apart. Yes, it does. All right, first go. And then just reach around the other side too. Just sort of yeah, just keep prying it. It will eventually come apart. I just move the front seat to give me more space. You see the lengths I go to for you guys. You see what I do. I do because I care. Because I want to show what it's like. The reality of installing these things. Okay, so there we go. Oh, one more little bit. We should be right. Okay, so don't be afraid, pull them out, because that's what they look like on the inside. Bit of metal and plastic, and they're all fastened like that. Clip-ins, so yeah, shouldn't be too bad. Yeah, so we've got the bottom bit, and this is what we want to focus on our attention on now, this is the CAN bus port. We want to pry that open, put the bypass harness, whatever you want to call it, in there so that the unit can read and play and do whatever back here for the rescreen. Okay, so now I've done the bottom part, that was the easy bit. Now to work out how to do this top casing here, which I've not done before. But I suspect because it's a Tesla, they're all the same. They've all got the metal clips or fastens at the back, so I should be able to just, hopefully, yep. There we go, nice and low now. Okay, so yes, there's a couple of screws here, that one. And this one here, which I need to undo, and I think we should be okay, because that, I think, is connected to this top casing here. Okay, so pro tip, down here, these screws are not super standard, okay, so they're not Phillips head, they're not like the hex screws from IKEA, they're actually, how do I describe this? This is like, this type of screw, yeah, that focuses, there we go. So that, luckily I've got one of these little bits, little drill bit things, and this multi-adapter driver. So yeah, you need to get yourself one of these. That's what it looks like. Focus, yeah. Can I focus? Okay, so that's what it looks like. Best thing is probably to get one of these kits here, different types, and I think this one came from the T20. I think it's the T20 that I just took out of. It is T20, it says on the side here T20. Hopefully you can read that. Yep, T20. And let's just make sure it works before I give you the correct advice. Yep, it definitely fits there. And it's got the right setting there. So, yep, lefty-loosey. And yeah, I'll put the camera down and undo this one, but that seems to be working okay. Okay, so T20 star-shaped screwdriver and screws removed successfully. Okay, so keep those screws in a safe place. You'll need them very shortly. But after you've done that, the casing should just come away like that. So, very easy. Okay, so at this point I'm going to turn my car off. So controls, go down to safety there and then just scroll down and it says power off. Yes, I'm sure I want to turn the power off like that. Okay, so now I'm pretty confident the car is off. I heard a bang after a couple of minutes. Means the CAN bus is shut down. And speaking of CAN bus, now is the time to unplug this. And what I normally do is try to not use my fingers, not to handle the wires too much. And I have two pry tools. I push on this here and then normally push on that one. I can use this end rather, so a bit more leverage. Use this one now. Okay, that should come undone. There we go, so that's come undone. Can take a few tries, but usually does come away. So push that out, okay. And then we've got our wiring loom, which I put somewhere in the car. Here it is. Okay, so yep, socket with plug with socket. So that should be pretty self-explanatory. That should go in there. Okay, that's pretty secure. And then this, and so let's pull this out a little bit. Give us a bit more room, and there we are. So that should just go in like that. Yep, click is good. And then you can probably tuck this away a bit more there. So you've got more space to work with. Okay, so that's pretty confident there. There's a lot of room inside this little cubby there, so we're good. Okay, so now a bit of cable management now from the accessory side. As I said, these two can connect to your seats, your front two seats, which I'm going to ignore today because, like I said, I don't like people at the back touching the front seats too much. And then this guy here, this white plug. Looks like the only place it can go is this box, which I think is a transmitter. Yeah, I think that possibly transmits to the screen wirelessly, so we shall see. Anyway, this is the only place this white plug goes in, so let me pop this in first. Okay, there we go. And that's nice and secure. Yeah, good. And then now we find a home for this black plug. Okay, so something we need to do now is actually take out the USB charging module from the original OEM vents, which is this little black box here. Okay, so this is also potentially a little bit tricky, so we need to first remove these two screws. Okay, so let's do that first. And again, I'm using my trusty T20 star-shaped drill bit, and to remove these two bolts. Okay, so once you've undone those bolts from there and there, then there are some tabs here. So see where my pry tool is pointing to, just there. 1, 2. So release those, and they're just made of plastic, so be gentle with them. And 3 and 4, and then just basically wiggle it out. It should just come loose. There we go. So we are loose, and that is a good thing, because now we can access, once we remove the vent, take this whole thing out, remove these two screws first, and they just look like, I think they are also, they might be star-shaped as well, so we will just have a look to see which one it is. Okay, so these black screws here, there and there, they are also that special star-shaped driver. So this one is, I'll just see what size it is. I think it's the smallest one, so it might be, I think it's T10. Let me just have a look. Look at the sizing. Yep, it's a T10. It says on the drill bit there. Okay, so I've taken the first screw out, and now I'll just take out the second one by hand, which I've loosened already. And once I've taken that out, this black module should just come out. There we go, that slips out. And we'll just put this into the new unit. You want to put this USB charging module, and that should just slip into this area here below the air conditioning vent. Okay, see now I've popped that through there so you can see the silver parts just sticking out. That means you are correct. And then the module should just sit on the screw holes right there, 1 and 2. Now your workstation needs to be in the car, because from here on you actually need the charging cable from the car, this power cable, and you need to actually plug it in now into this module. So let's do that. Okay, so my apologies, I actually had to remove the screws, or loosen them at least, so that the module is loose, and that way I can slot it in easier. Okay, so the plug is definitely into the module. Now I can screw it back in. Okay, next step is to put the vent back in that hole now. So that goes there, and then there are a couple of screw holes there. So one there and one there. I'll just lift it up for you to see. Okay, so 2 screw holes, and then just use one of the silver screws that's included with the pack and screw it in. Okay, now that I'm happy with the vent securely fastened to the rest of the unit, now it's time to put the screen on. Okay, so the screen goes on like that, and there are 3 anchor points with screws, so 1 up the top and then 2 down the bottom. You can just see there, so screw and then another screw there. So we'll do that right now. Okay, screen is on, secure with the 3 screw points. Okay, now it's time to put the unit into the car. Okay, so I'll give you a wider shot now. So that black plug I was referring to is, where is it? It's this fellow here, this black plug. And there is the accessory casing, the one I just put together before. And just for your interest, that black box, I thought might be a receiver, and I think it's something, because there's a little antenna here, so I think it's talking to the unit via whatever, Bluetooth or whatever it is. And then yeah, so there we go. This is where this black plug needs to find a home. So I think let's find that satisfactory click. Yeah, that's a good click. So I think that is pretty secure. So I think we're sorted. Okay, good news everyone. I've turned the car on, and it looks like the screen is turning on as well. That's a good sign. It means I think we're in business. Aha, here we go. Let's bring this down so we get some more flow down here. Yeah, okay, there's definitely flow now, so we are in business. So I think it's all good to go. Let me just bring this back up again. Okay, good. And let's just make sure we've got everything else working as well. Music. Oh wow, okay. Excellent, so built-in speakers are working definitely. Okay, and before I put the unit back together to the car, I just want to make sure that the USB charging works. So there it is there, plugged into my phone, and yeah, screen symbol means it is charging. Fantastic. And also same with the other side as well. Green symbol and charging. Okay, so now's the time to put everything back, and now is the time to practice your cable management skills. So make sure everything is tucked neat and tidy inside this main casing. They can sit there, and then including this black box as well. Make sure it's all nice and tidy, and then basically just put everything back together so that it's basically up against the rest of the car here, right? And then you can put your 2 screws back there, and then you should be good to go. Let's do it. Okay, so I thought I'd save you all my gratuitous grunting, and yeah, I managed to slot everything back in. That's probably the hardest part of the whole thing, just getting all your cables managed properly, and yeah, everything sort of slots in like this. This is actually a nice and open example for me to show you, but they all look like that. They sort of slot into a hole, as we saw when we pulled it out. So slot it in there, and yeah, now we put the screws back in down the bottom, and we should be almost home and hosed. Okay, so just final tightening. You know me on this channel, I like to show everything, warts and all. Not like those other installations where it's like, look how easy it is, and yeah, just show you the good bits, and right, everything's slow-mo and good-looking people doing it. No, you just got me, unfortunately. Me and my tools, and no friends to help out today. So if I can do this one-handed, holding a camera and talking to you, you can do this with 2 hands. Hopefully not distracted, so I've got hope in you guys. You can do this. Okay, so yes, we are about to hit the winning runs. We are about to this is game, set, match. This is the final lap. Insert sporting euphemism here. Once I get this the right way around, here we go. So final panel. Boom. It should just click into place. Okay, so there we go. Once you fiddle with it a little bit, that was in real time, by the way. Once you just sort of find the right spots. And look how secure this is. Let me just bring the camera up. Okay, so this is now the top panel. That is super secure. That is not going anywhere. I am happy. Okay, so now you get to enjoy this final moment with me where I put everything back together. This is the final piece of the puzzle. This is like Darth Vader's helmet. You know, as the final scene of, what's that movie? Revenge of the Sith, I think, isn't it? When Anakin gets his helmet, like when it gets slotted on. It's a bit like that, isn't it? See? Okay, so the back of the helmet, so to speak, has got this 1, 2, 3, 4. So these 4 tabs that go into these holes, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. So they should just slot in nicely. There we go, do this properly. Instead of making jokes. Okay, so that should just go in. Like that over the top. And now we're in good position. Oh, that's a good click, isn't it? Oh, that's an even better click. I think Anakin or Darth is finally alive. Oh, final click. Okay, so Darth is definitely alive now. Let me just check view. That's nice and flush. And the best thing is if you ever want to uninstall it or undo it, and just pull it out, and I can already feel it coming apart just with a bit of gentle traction. So should be okay, guys. It's that's my disclaimer with these accessories or mods. You know, if you can install it yourself, you know where everything goes, and then if you can uninstall it yourself, then I think you honestly shouldn't run into any warranty issues. Of course, that's just my little disclaimer, and I can't guarantee that, but if you install it properly, and you know you can uninstall it, you can return your car to baseline to 0, then I think, you know, Tesla shouldn't have any issues if they ever question you, if they want you to uninstall it. So I think that from what I've heard from people online saying that Tesla might just want you to uninstall it if they want to access something. But yeah, that's about the only issue you run into. So as long as you know where everything goes, that should be good to go. And that's why I only install accessories and mods that I'm happy that they can be removed at any time to return the car to baseline. Okay, so yeah, there we go. That's the new Hansshow rear screen there, and I would say so far this is probably the most integrated, most secure rear screen I've installed so far for Hansshow. And more importantly, it can still fit my tissue box underneath there, so happy days. And check this out, you can still open the center console and it still is okay. Just brushes over lightly and it can shut easily as well. So I'm happy, very happy indeed. Okay, so just a really quick run through of the 7.5 inch screen from Hansshow. It's essentially an Android tablet, so if you're familiar with Android, or if you're familiar with the rear screens that have been produced before by Hansshow, then you'll know what I'm talking about. So I won't do too much because the settings and all that are very similar. I'm connected to my house Wi-Fi, so I can show you some of the connectivity and some of the features that way too. But essentially, if you want to turn the aircon in the back, you must have the aircon on in the car as well. So I've got the aircon on from the main screen of the car. I just press this button here, and there we go. You can have airflow through the back, and it's certainly not too bad. The vents are smaller than you know, the OEM vents, but certainly the flow is not too bad as well. Okay, so if you want to access the apps from the screen, because every time you press home, you will come back to this aircon screen right there. So for example, if I want to access one of the apps, I just press that button there, and you can see all the different apps that can be accessed from the Android device. So you can have Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and that icon brings you there. TikTok, Netflix, YouTube, Google, YouTube Music, the Play Store is there. So let's have a look at YouTube, and you'll come to my channel, of course. How can I help not putting my own channel up there? Let's put on the, let's say, oh, thank you all the channel members too, really appreciate that. Let's go to the delivery day video. Hey everyone, it's Tesla. Okay, so once all the ads roll, there you go, that's my video. And as you can see, or as you can hear, there is audio coming from the device itself, because there is a mic right under there as well, which is great. And there's also a USB port for USB headphones. So if you want to keep your passengers occupied, maybe even children up the back occupied, then plug in a USB headphone, and they will be happy, and you'll be happy, and the world will be happy. So that USB port is fantastic for USB enabled headphones. Of course, you can, as usual, use Bluetooth enabled speakers, headphones, and also the music or whatever you play can be transmitted to the car's audio system via Bluetooth as well. For volume control, press that one, and that just brings that right down there. And check this out too, you've got settings up to 4K this time, so a very high resolution screen. So let's try that in 4K. Yeah, so that is potentially playing in 4K, although, yeah, I must say, when it's in 4K, it is a bit jerky. So, yeah, that's the compromise. I probably wouldn't enjoy watching it like that. So if I just go back to, let's see, how is it in 1440? Give that a moment. Okay, so that's still a little bit jerky. So I guess even though it can play at 1440, it's still a little bit slow. So I would say if you want sort of smooth, that's not too bad there. That's not too bad. I think it's the settings I've applied. So 1440 is okay, but I suppose if you want consistency, then you probably just go back to 1080p there. And that's probably going to be your best bet for smooth video up the back. And I mean, it's a pretty small screen anyway, right? So you probably don't need too high quality up the back here. And as always, if you want to go to the home screen, bring up the home there. And if you want to bring up the apps, there we go. If you want quick links to YouTube, Netflix, TikTok, that button brings you there. And yeah, that's basically it. You can tether your phone as well if you want to have connectivity on the road if you haven't got Wi-Fi access. Alright everyone, well that is the Hansshow 7.5 inch screen here in my black 2023 rear-wheel drive Tesla Model 3. Hope you enjoyed the installation and test. And yeah, thanks again to Hansshow for supplying this product. Make sure you use my coupon code TeslaTom for a discount on this product. I'll leave a link as usual in the video description below. Thanks everyone, and as always, happy charging.